All right, here we are going to find, please label this find missing side. Using Trigo, not Trigo, using Trig. Right side, find a side using Trig. All right, those that aren't paying attention are going to do poorly. Step number 1, pick an angle. All right. Today, as a beginner, that's not an insult, you're just starting something, we've all been beginners at things. All right, so pick an angle. Any angle, you can't pick the 90-degree angle. You can't pick that one. All right, you assign 2 words, and the 2 words that we are choosing from are opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. And those were the words we talked about the other day. We've gotten this lesson close to ready. We've gotten this lesson close to ready. All right. Then you choose the correct sine, cosine, or tangent. So if you would remember when we talked about this, we got beginning on this, when we talked about this beginning on this a few days ago, all right, I tried to cut a board in half nicely, and I used a hammer, and that failed miserably. Then I tried again with a saw, and that worked perfectly. I had a nail I tried to pound in. I tried to pound in with a screwdriver. I failed miserably. I had another one, I used a hammer, that worked perfect. So if you all would please do the following. If you would draw, or if you live in southern Iowa, if you would draw a triangle like this here. All right. So we have a triangle. We know one of the angles, we actually know 2. We know there's 90. All of these problems will have 90. And we know 2 sides. I'm sorry, we know one side and we're asked to find a side. All right, so pick an angle. Today, please consider picking the one that they suggest. Please consider picking the one that they suggest. All right. The 2 words we choose are what we know and what we want to know, or if you've got a bad attitude, what we know and what you're told to know. Have I or anybody asked you about this side here? Is there any X or any number here? So we're not going to put any word here. We're going to put a word here and a word here. Now I bet we did an example of people sitting across the room and stuff like that. What was the one thing that everybody agreed on is where the door was? The one we always agree on is where the hypotenuse is. The hypotenuse is here. Is it one that we know or want to know? Please write hypotenuse. And if you want to write hype, you can. We know the hypotenuse. I am asking you to find something else. Wow, that's far away. Is the word far away opposite or adjacent? Opposite. All right. So we picked an angle today. You are given a suggestion on what to pick. They'll tell you which one to pick. By the way, you could pick the other one and you'd get it right. All right. So now what we need is the following. Maybe you have memorized SOHCAHTOA. Sine, opposite hypotenuse, cosine, adjacent hypotenuse, tangent, opposite adjacent. Maybe you have memorized that. Or maybe you memorized the pleasant saddle our horses, sine, opposite hypotenuse, canter away happily, cosine, adjacent hypotenuse, 2 other adventures, tangent, opposite adjacent. So on this problem, we know O and H. Which one uses O and H? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Sine. Does that make sense? This problem is dealing with O and H. Cool. We're going to choose sine. Would you please write this down? Would you write sine 37 degrees equals opposite over adjacent x over 18. Opposite x over adjacent. Now, with your calculator, which is in degrees, please hit sin of 37 and hit enter. And you get 0.601815, blah, blah, depending on how many calculators or how many decimals your calculator does. Oh no, it just stopped recording. Really? Oh, is it still going? It's still going, oh good. All right, yeah, who knows? I don't know what I'm doing. All right, now, you must use at least 4 decimal places. If you use more, you're more accurate. All right, so mine says sine is 0.6018. I'll just go that far at the moment. My goodness, that becomes a regular Algebra 1 problem. X divided by 18. Do what to both sides? Take it. Times 18. Would you please take 0.6018 times 18, or the whole decimal times 18? And if I'm going to the nearest tenth, that side is 10.8. If you got it, say, that's what I got. Cool, 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 cool. All right. There are the rules. The rules haven't changed in the last few minutes. Pick an angle. Assign 2 words. Opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse. You do the one you know and the one you're asked to know or the one you want to know. Please draw a right triangle, but it's a little sideways-ishness. All right, we pick an angle. By the way, you could pick any one you want. You can't pick the 90. Pick any one you want. Today, I suggest you pick the one they suggest. When we were doing people sitting opposite adjacent, what was the one thing we all agreed with? Where the door was. What's this one across from 9? That's the hypotenuse. Say, am I asking you for the answer to the hypotenuse? Okay, so that's the one word we're not going to write down. Whoa, is this y far away? It is opposite. Hey, is this 46 awfully close by? It's adjacent. All right, so the major things in this problem is O and A. So from SOHCAHTOA, did we have SOA? No. Did we have COA? Did we have TOA? This problem uses tangent. Write down tan, please. Tan. 41 degrees equals the opposite. I chose the letter Y. Would you please find your calculator? Shouldn't have lost it in the last minute or two. And hit the word tan and 41. I'd say hit enter. You use a minimum of 4 rounded decimal places. You can use them all. And then this is y divided by 46. How do you get rid of a dividing? You times by 46. And about 39.98, probably would even round that to 40. All right. Okie dokie, great. There we go in